Hi, everyone. So, I want to talk today about God's promises and how we can wait for a long time feeling like God has promised us something, and we're even willing, we go through stages of the first one being God promised me something and He made me so excited about it. You know, I, leaping for joy that He said He's going to give me something really big, outside of what I can do. For example, Joseph in the Bible, he was given the promise of, he had the dream that his family would bow down to him. And, he was so excited. He shared that with his family, and his family not only were not excited, but they were already jealous and upset. And so that only made matters worse. And so then it comes to the point where we're given this promise, we're excited about it, and then the promise has to die. Abraham and Sarah, they were given a promise as well of a child, and it was in many cases all these promises take many years to be fulfilled. It's not that God is not going to fulfill them, but it's not going to happen in our timing most of the time. God's timing is not our timing. So, it stirs up our hope of a future that God has for us. But then we have to submit that to the Lord. And that's where we give it back to the Lord and say, okay, God, you gave me this. I trust in you, and I'm going to trust that you're going to fulfill it. What am I supposed to do in the meantime? So once you get past the stage of you kind of let go of the immediate gratification of it, and you believe, you hide it away in your heart that it's going to happen, and you start believing when you don't see it's going to happen, and it actually seems like it's the furthest thing from happening. You live in a way that you continue to be faithful to the Lord. And then there comes a time where that promise starts stirring up, and you can see things. And I want to say too that along the way, God is blessing. There are so many things that He teaches us through the journey to that promise. The Israelite going through the wilderness, they are been given promises of things, provisions, blessings. Learning how to trust in the Lord, that in itself is a gift. But then it comes to the place where that ultimate thing that we're looking towards that He's promised, that's where we start, where He stirs up. He stirs up the faith. Get ready. It's time to start birthing that promise. You've conceived. You have that promise has grown. It has developed. You've carried it, and now it's time to birth the promise. And it's this moment you've been waiting for. You're ready to see it, but now that there's this great agony to birth that promise, and that's where we stop a lot of the times is, we already went through some difficult stages of carrying the promise, waiting for the promise, hoping for the promise, and now we have to deliver the promise. And the delivery experience is painful. And there's a great pushback from the enemy. It gets darkest before the dawn. And I just want to encourage, this is what the Lord has been speaking to me, is that push through the pain. Don't give up on that promise. Don't let that promise die after you've carried it for so long. And it gets grueling, those labor pains and the things, it gets hard. It gets discouraging. You get tired. But this is the time that the Lord is saying He has great things for us, and don't forsake the promise now. Don't forsake God now, because He wants to bless us, but comes with the faithfulness of giving every bit we have at the very end. So be encouraged today. God is with us. He will strengthen us. He will encourage us in our darkest, most painful moments. But believe that promise is coming, because it's coming. If you've been faithful, if you've been giving everything to God and now you feel like you just have nothing left, don't forsake it now. Be encouraged that promise is coming. In Jesus' name.